Travis Hennings did not burst onto the scene with a revolutionary idea. His journey began with small, deliberate steps. He started his career in a simple entry-level job. This role exposed him to the basic mechanics of commerce. He learned how a company acquires a customer. He learned how a company provides a service. He learned how a company collects money. He was not focused on climbing the ladder quickly. Instead, he focused on mastering the tasks he was given. He watched his managers and the company's leaders closely. He paid attention to how they made decisions. He paid attention to how they handled problems. He paid attention to how they communicated with their teams. This period was his real-world business school, a low-risk environment for absorbing fundamental principles. His core principle from the beginning was to build a reputation for reliability. He understood that trust was a currency more valuable than money, especially early on. When given a simple task, he completed it with precision and on time. He asked thoughtful questions to ensure he understood the objective. This approach made him a valuable team member. His employers saw him as someone who could be counted on, which opened doors to more responsibility. He built strong relationships with his early colleagues and supervisors. Many of these individuals would later become his first partners. Many of these individuals would later become his first clients. Many of these individuals would later become his first mentors. He also cultivated a deep-seated habit of continuous learning. Travis treated every interaction and every project as a case study. He did not just do the work. He deconstructed it. Why did this sales pitch succeed? Why did that customer complain? What bottleneck slowed this project down? He spent his evenings and weekends reading books on business. He spent his evenings and weekends reading books on sales. He spent his evenings and weekends reading books on human psychology. He was not just accumulating knowledge for its own sake. He was actively looking for frameworks and tools he could apply directly to his work the very next day. This practice of active learning created a compounding effect on his skills, making him more effective each year. This foundational period was crucial because it taught him patience and process. He learned that success is not a single event, but the result of countless small, consistent actions. He did not chase get-rich-quick schemes or look for shortcuts. He focused on doing simple things exceptionally well. He built a solid base of practical skills. He built a network of trusted contacts. He built a disciplined mindset. This foundation was the bedrock upon which he would later build his entire portfolio of businesses. It was the slow, unglamorous work that made all the subsequent fast-paced success possible. It was the training ground where he forged the tools for his future playbook. He began his journey as a frontline employee, likely in a sales role, customer service role. This initial position was his laboratory for understanding human behavior and market needs. He learned how to listen to what customers were truly asking for, not just what they were saying. He mastered the art of clear communication, the science of closing a sale. He was not just an employee, he was a student of the system, meticulously documenting what worked, meticulously documenting what failed. This direct exposure to the customer became the cornerstone of his future product development philosophy. From the front line, he moved into a role with supervisory responsibilities. This was his first taste of leadership. He was now in charge of a small team, responsible for their performance, responsible for their development. This step taught him the difficult art of management, how to delegate tasks effectively, how to provide constructive feedback. He discovered that leading people was a completely different skill set than being a top individual performer. He made mistakes, but he learned from them quickly. He learned to manage budgets, set targets, report on team progress, acquiring the basic financial literacy needed to run a larger operation. The next logical step in his ascent was taking on project-based work. This moved him beyond daily operations into the realm of strategy and execution. As a project manager, he was responsible for taking an idea from conception to completion. This role trained him to think in systems. He had to coordinate with different departments, manage timelines, allocate resources efficiently. He learned how to break down a large, complex goal into small, manageable tasks. Each successful project built his confidence, expanded his skill set. He was now comfortable managing not just people but also money, time, complex processes. This step-by-step climb was intentional. Each role was chosen to fill a specific gap in his knowledge. He moved from understanding the customer in sales to managing people as a supervisor to executing plans as a project manager. He never took a job just for a higher salary or a better title. He took jobs that offered the steepest learning curve in an area he needed to master. This strategic approach to his career ensured that by the time he was ready to start his own venture, he possessed a holistic understanding of how a business operates from the ground up. He was not just a specialist, he was a generalist with deep practical experience in key business functions. That deliberate sequence paid off. The transition from a secure employee to a risk-taking founder was a critical pivot for Travis. This change was not driven by a sudden impulse but by a growing desire for more autonomy and impact. He had reached a point in his career where he felt constrained by corporate structures. He had ideas he wanted to test and a vision he wanted to build, but he lacked the control to execute them fully. The pivotal moment came when he identified a specific, recurring problem he had observed throughout his career. It was a problem existing. Companies were ignoring or addressing poorly. This singular focus on a clear problem became the catalyst for his first entrepreneurial venture. He managed this high-risk transition with extreme caution. Travis did not quit his day job immediately. Instead, he started his business as a side project, a concept he often advocates for. He used the steady income from his employment to fund the initial development of his idea. This strategy, often called bootstrapping, allowed him to test his concept without taking on external debt and without pressure from investors. He kept his initial costs obsessively low. He built a simple prototype, a minimum viable product designed to do one thing well. This approach minimized financial exposure and allowed him to validate his idea in the real world before making a full commitment. Would you use this? What would you pay for it? What is the most frustrating part of your current solution? This customer-centric approach ensured he was not building something that only he thought was a good idea. He was co-creating the solution with the very people who would eventually pay for it. Dramatically reducing the risk of market failure. Travis Hennings built his businesses not on flashes of genius, but on a clear, repeatable playbook. The core of his method was rapid, low-cost experimentation. He created the simplest possible version that could deliver value and put it in front of real customers. He treated business development like scientific experiments, each idea a hypothesis to be tested. This let him quickly see what was working and what was not without wasting time or capital. He built small, highly effective teams, prioritizing skill and attitude over impressive resumes. He hired experts who were adaptable, curious, and willing to learn. He kept teams lean because small groups communicate more efficiently and move faster. He empowered teams with clear, short-term, measurable goals. Acquire 20 new paying customers in the next 30 days. Partnerships were critical. He sought partners with complementary skills, product with marketing or sales. He structured collaborations as true partnerships with shared stakes and outcomes. He leveraged local business networks, online communities, and industry events to find mentors and advisors. At the core was a commitment to simplicity in operations, avoiding complex software and convoluted processes. He favored systems that were easy to understand, easy to use, and easy to repeat. Simplicity wasn't about being cheap, it was about being efficient and scalable. Simple processes are easier to teach, easier to grow, and less likely to break under pressure. Keeping the playbook straightforward let his businesses grow smoothly, without being crippled by internal complexity, and allowed him to replicate success across ventures. Financial success for Travis Hennings was a direct result of disciplined and intelligent choices, not a lottery win. From day one of his first venture, he focused on the numbers. He tracked every dollar that came in and every dollar that went out. You cannot manage what you do not measure. He knew his precise cost to acquire a customer and the lifetime value of that customer. He set prices to cover direct costs and indirect costs, while keeping a healthy margin for profit and reinvestment. He avoided premature scaling, refusing lavish offices and non-essential tools early on. His approach to risk was calculated. He mitigated risk at every turn. He maintained a cash buffer, several months of operating expenses. That war chest gave him peace of mind and let him navigate downturns or seize sudden opportunities. He was conservative with debt, only considering loans with a clear data-backed plan demonstrating returns greater than the loan cost. He avoided borrowing to cover shortfalls. Growth came from profits, bootstrapping. Each month, profits were systematically reinvested. That reinvestment compounded. Early, small online ad campaigns. Then, hiring a new employee. Later, new product lines and entering new markets. He used simple, powerful reporting, not 50-page statements. A handful of key metrics gave a real-time pulse. Weekly, simple cash flow statement. Monthly, profit and loss statement. These reports helped him spot trends, identify inefficiencies, and make quick, data-driven decisions. Constant vigilance over the financial dashboard was his command center. Mastery of the numbers turned his businesses into a wealth-building engine. Travis Hennings frequently shares practical financial advice that forms the bedrock of his success. His first and most important rule is to know your numbers. He argues that financial control is impossible without financial clarity. He relentlessly advises aspiring entrepreneurs to meticulously track every single expense, every source of income. If you do not track your money, you cannot control it, he states plainly. He recommends that even the smallest business owner should review their cash flow statement on a weekly basis. This simple habit, he insists, is the single most powerful action one can take to avoid common financial pitfalls and maintain control over their business's destiny. His second core rule is to prioritize profit over revenue. Big sales are meaningless if the cost of generating those sales is too high. Calculate your profit margin on every single sale. Every dollar saved on unnecessary costs drops directly to the bottom line. Grow at a sustainable pace, prove stability and profitability before moving to the next level.